Russian lawmakers passed a new law that raises the age of mandatory military service to 30 years. This was on Tuesday. Starting from the 1st of January next year, Russian men up till the age of 30 will be called upon for compulsory military service. Earlier, the age limit was 27. The new law also bans Russian men from leaving the country after they receive their summoning letters from the military. Meanwhile, Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu met his counterpart in North Korea's capital Pyongyang today. Shoigu said, and I quote, "North Korea is an important partner for Russia." Earlier in the day, the Russian Defense Minister paid his respects to the fallen North Korean soldiers of the Korean War. Shoigu is leading a Russian delegation to North Korea for the 70th anniversary of the conflict. The US military released a video that shows a Russian jet flying extremely close to an American drone over Syria. The incident happened on Tuesday. US officials say the Russian aircraft fired flares which severely damaged the propeller of the American MQ-9 drone. However, the drone operators were able to safely return the aircraft to its home base. China named Wang Yi as its new foreign minister on Tuesday. He will replace Qin Gang, who has been absent for over a month. China's foreign ministry said Qin Gang has been relieved of his position due to health reasons. However, there is media speculation that he was sacked for allegedly having an affair. This will be Wang Yi's second stint as China's foreign minister. He previously held the role between 2018 and 2022. After taking over as foreign minister, Wang Yi arrived in Turkey's capital Ankara today. He held bilateral talks with his Turkish counterpart. He's also poised to meet Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. This is Wang Yi's first international trip after being reappointed as foreign minister. Taiwan began military drills at its main international airport in Taipei on Wednesday. Helicopters, including attack gunships, along with hundreds of soldiers, took part in the military exercise. They practiced defensive tactics against possible airborne assaults. This is the first time that a military exercise is being held at Taipei's international airport. India celebrated the 24th anniversary of the Kargil War victory today. Indian leaders, including the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, paid tribute to the fallen soldiers. India's Defence Minister attended a wreath-laying ceremony at the Kargil War Memorial in India's northern region of Ladakh. The Kargil War was fought between India and Pakistan in 1999. This was after Pakistan's troops crossed the border and occupied Indian positions. Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen said he will resign in a few weeks. He has ruled the country for almost 38 years. Hun Sen said he will now pass on the Prime Minister's role to his son Hun Manet. Hun Manet was the face of the Cambodian People's Party in Sunday's general election. He's also the commander of the Royal Cambodian Armed Forces. The Prime Ministers of New Zealand and Australia met in New Zealand's Wellington City today. They vowed to increase aid and support to other nations in the Pacific. Australian Prime Minister Antony Albanese said, and I quote, "We will provide aid without any strings attached." The two leaders agreed to further boost economic and security cooperation in the region. Meanwhile, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken arrived in New Zealand. This is the second stop of Blinken's Indo-Pacific tour. He will hold talks with New Zealand's Prime Minister Chris Hipkins. Before this, Blinken visited the Pacific island nation of Tonga and met the Prime Minister and senior government officials. At least 31 prisoners were killed in riots in the Latin American nation of Ecuador. The violence erupted on Saturday. Ecuador's government has declared a 60-day emergency in all prisons. At least 2,700 soldiers have been deployed in prisons after the recent incident. Several weapons like knives, pistols, and even a grenade launcher were reportedly recovered from the cells of inmates. Now for climate news, 4 people have died in the wildfires tearing through Italy. Meanwhile, almost 2,000 people have been displaced because of the flames. A heat wave has hit southern Europe with scorching temperatures that have brought an increased risk of wildfires and deaths. In some parts of eastern Sicily, temperatures rose to 47.6 degrees Celsius earlier this week. That's close to the record European high of 48.8 degrees Celsius, which was recorded on the island 2 years ago. A rapidly spreading wildfire broke out at the center of the Spanish island of Gran Canaria on Tuesday. It has forced local authorities to evacuate several hundred people from their homes. Officials have also shut down 3 roads and deployed helicopters to contain the blaze. Hundreds of Portuguese firefighters scrambled to put out flames sweeping across a natural park in the country's capital, Lisbon. More than 600 firefighters were brought in after the fire erupted. Water-bombing planes also battled the blaze. Damage and debris could be seen strewn across roads in the central Philippines. This was after Typhoon Doksuri made landfall. The typhoon brought heavy rains that have caused rivers to overflow and damaged power lines. Storm warnings are in place in many parts of the country. Authorities have warned of storm surges, landslides, and damage to infrastructure. Meanwhile, China is preparing for Typhoon Doksuri to make landfall as well. Tree branches have been trimmed and electric cables have been secured on poles to prevent damage. China's typhoon warning alert was upgraded from orange to red. This is the country's highest advisory in its 4-tier color-coded warning system. Villagers in Pakistan's eastern Punjab province are struggling with severe flooding triggered by heavy monsoon rains. This has submerged fields and homes in the area. Residents have been left stranded due to floodwaters and swollen rivers. According to local weather authorities, monsoon rains are likely to continue throughout the week. Climate change has played a quote-unquote absolutely overwhelming role in July's extreme heat waves around the globe. This is according to a study by scientists from World Weather Attribution. July temperatures broke records in China, the US, and southern Europe. The El Niño weather condition likely contributed to the extra heat in some regions. However, scientists believe rising greenhouse gas levels were the major factor. In the US state of Arizona, extreme heat and prolonged drought are taking a toll on the iconic and resilient desert cacti saguaro. The cacti rely on summer monsoon rains, which have failed to arrive this year. The plants need to cool down at night or through rain and mist. If that does not happen, they sustain internal damage. Rescue efforts continue in West Australia after a pod of whales stranded on a remote beach. The whales were beached on Tuesday afternoon in Australia's Cheyennes Beach. Rescuers helped in moving some of the whales, placing them in strings and moving them to open water. However, authorities say that 51 of the animals died overnight. In business and tech news, the US Federal Reserve is poised to hike interest rates in its July meeting, which will conclude today. Last month, the central bank held its rates, taking time to assess the impacts of its earlier rate hikes. However, recent economic data suggests it will now hike the rates by 25 basis points. If this happens, it will mark the Fed's most restrictive monetary stance in 22 years. The International Monetary Fund has raised its GDP growth forecast for India for the financial year 2023 to 2024. The IMF has increased its forecast from 5.9% to 6.1%. It has done so keeping in view stronger than expected growth in the country. Meanwhile, the World Bank estimates India's growth at 6.3% and the Asian Development Bank puts it at 6.4%. Alison Rose, the CEO of the British bank NatWest, has stepped down. This is after she admitted to being a source to an inaccurate media report. She contributed to a report that discussed the relationship of the bank with the Brexit Party leader Nigel Farage. The report said that a private bank owned by NatWest had closed Farage's account after he fell below the required financial threshold. However, a review later found that Farage's political views were also a factor in the decision to close his account. United Parcel Service, or UPS, and its union have signed a tentative contract deal. It provides historic wage increases, one extra paid holiday, and air conditioning in the company's delivery trucks. This is in the US. The new deal will affect 340,000 American workers at the parcel delivery firm. This comes just a week ahead of a potential strike that could have cost the US economy billions of dollars. The US Senate has backed a legislation that hardens its stance against China. The legislation will require US companies to notify federal agencies of investments in Chinese technologies. This includes investments in areas such as semiconductors and artificial intelligence. US lawmakers have also introduced a new stock trading legislation. The proposed legislation is called Ban Stock Trading for Government Officials Act. The name is self-explanatory. US officials will be banned from trading stocks. This will include members of the US Congress, the President, the Vice President, senior executive branch officials, and their relatives. According to reports, the Jack Ma-backed Ant Group is planning a restructuring of the company. This will break off some non-core operations of its China business. The company is looking at excluding its blockchain, database management services, and international businesses from the main entity. Once the restructuring is complete, the Ant Group can prepare for a public listing in Hong Kong. US lawmakers expressed their concerns about the potential for the malevolent use of artificial intelligence. One of them said that AI could be used to create disinformation campaigns. Another lawmaker added that AI could contribute to the development of biological weapons. Just last week, AI companies including OpenAI, Alphabet, and Meta platforms promised the White House that they would make AI technology safer. The Chinese short video app TikTok is allowing users to create text-only posts. With this, users can choose from a variety of backgrounds and add hashtags. They will also allow people to tag others. These posts have a limit of 1,000 characters and look similar to Instagram stories. With this recent addition, TikTok joins the tech bandwagon of releasing conversation platforms. An Australian court has ordered Meta platforms to pay a fine of $14 million. This is for collecting user data through a separate smartphone application. The judgment is in relation to a virtual private network, or VPN, called Onavo. Onavo was advertised as a service to keep personal information safe. However, Meta used the app to know what users were doing on their mobile devices. Onavo ads allegedly did not make this clear. Moving to sports, in cricket, the West Indies have recalled batsman Simran Hetmyer and bowler O'Shane Thomas for one-day international matches against India. Hetmyer will replace batter and keeper Nicholas Pooran, while Thomas will replace the injured pacer Jason Holder. India have not announced any changes to their team yet. The West Indies are hosting India for a three-match ODI series. The first game will be played on Thursday. England and Australia announced their squad for the fifth and final Ashes Test match. Both teams have not made any changes to their respective sides. The final match will be played at London's iconic stadium, the Oval. The game will begin on Thursday. Australia lead the five-match series 2-1. The fourth test was a draw. So, even if England win the fifth test, Australia will retain the Ashes. The International Cricket Council has fined Indian skipper Harmanpreet Kaur. This is after Kaur had an outburst on the field during Saturday's match against Bangladesh. The Indian skipper will have to miss her next two international matches. In addition, she has been fined 75% of her match fees. Kaur was also handed 3 demerit points on her disciplinary record. This is because she displayed dissent against an umpire's decision. In football, Colombia beat South Korea 2-0 at the Women's World Cup. Catalina Usme put Colombia ahead in the 30th minute via a penalty. 9 minutes later, Linda Caicedo scored the winner for Colombia. However, South Korea made history during the match. In the 77th minute, they introduced Casey Fair as a substitute. 16-year-old Fair became the youngest ever player at a FIFA Women's World Cup. Manchester City defender Kyle Walker said he was open to leaving the English Premier League. The defender told media that he was interested in joining German club Bayern Munich. Walker said that he was hurt by City manager Pep Guardiola's decision to bench him towards the end of last season. Walker joined Manchester City in 2017. He has made 254 appearances for the club. US officials have charged Joe Lewis, the owner of Tottenham Hotspur, for alleged insider trading. Lewis is a British billionaire who has owned the Spurs since 2001. According to a US attorney, Lewis used his investment firm, Tavistock Group, for illegal practices. The billionaire has been accused of sharing insider information with employees, friends, and even lovers. Golf legend Tiger Woods and Hollywood star Justin Timberlake are some of Lewis's business associates. In badminton, India's Shrikant Kidambi advanced at this year's Japan Open. The tournament is being played in Japan's capital, Tokyo. Kidambi beat world number 8 Chou Tien-chen 21-13, 21-13 in straight sets. The match lasted just 42 minutes. Kidambi will now play fellow Indian H.S. Pranoy in the next round on Thursday. Meanwhile, the Indian men's pair of Chirag Shetty and Satwik Sairaj Rankireddy also won at the Japan Open. They beat their Indonesian counterparts 21-16, 21-13. After the win, the Indian duo reached the second spot in world rankings. This is Shetty and Rankireddy's highest rank in their doubles career. The duo jumped multiple ranks after winning the Korea Open last Sunday. Bronny James, the eldest son of basketball icon LeBron James, suffered a cardiac arrest on Tuesday. The 18-year-old was in a practice session for his college basketball team when he collapsed on the court. He was rushed to a hospital and admitted to the intensive care unit. Medical staff said Bronny James was out of danger and had been shifted out of the ICU. Organizers of the 2024 Paris Olympics unveiled the iconic Olympic torch in the French capital on Tuesday. Several famous athletes attended the ceremony. This included the Olympian Usain Bolt. After the ceremony, the torch was paraded through Paris to mark the one-year-to-go milestone of the 2024 Olympics. On to the entertainment world now. Oppenheimer actor Cillian Murphy has said that he's open to playing the role of Ken in a potential Barbie sequel. In a recent interview, Murphy said, "Let's read the script, let's have a conversation." Murphy added that he cannot wait to watch the Barbie movie. The Barbie movie premiered on the same day as Oppenheimer. Greta Gerwig's Barbie has so far made over $380 million in the international box office. Meanwhile, Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer has total box office earnings of over $200 million. A stunt performer in the US state of Georgia joined the Hollywood Actors Guild strike by lighting himself on fire. The stunt performer, Mike Massa, is a member of Atlanta stunt community. He walked on the stage with a sign reading SAG-AFTRA on strike while being lit on fire. Massa was a stunt performer in the recent movie Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. The 48th edition of the Toronto International Film Festival has unveiled its movie lineup. The lineup includes the following films: Australian director Craig Gillespie's Dumb Money, American cinematographer Ellen Kuraz's Lee starring Kate Winslet, and actor Tony Goldwyn's Ezra with Robert De Niro. There are also some directorial debuts like Anna Kendrick's Woman of the Hour and Chris Pine's Pullman. But it remains unclear if actors will walk the red carpet in Toronto amid the ongoing SAG-AFTRA strike. American actor Tommy Dorfman has revealed that her earnings from the entire first season of the series 13 Reasons Why was about $29,000. Dorfman said that despite working round the clock and being a prominent character on the show, she encountered challenges. The revelation comes amid the ongoing Hollywood actors and writers' strikes. Dorfman played the role of Ryan Shaver in 13 Reasons Why. This was before the actor transitioned into a woman. The trailer of the movie Golda has been released. It has been directed by Israeli filmmaker Guy Nativ. The trailer shows actor Helen Mirren transformed into former Israeli Prime Minister Golda Meir. The movie is a thriller set during the tense 19 days of the Yom Kippur War in 1973. American actor Lisa Rinna has spoken out about working on the sets of the TV show Days of Our Lives. She described the work environment as disgusting. She said this was when the show was being directed by Albert Alar. Rinna made this revelation on Instagram hours after Alar faced an internal misconduct investigation. He was accused of groping actors working on the show. High School Musical character Ryan Evans has finally got the ending that he probably always wanted. Ryan Evans has been confirmed as gay in the Disney Plus show High School Musical: The Series. Evans' character is played by actor Lucas Grabeel. In a clip, Evans is shown kissing another man and thanking him for his support. The first High School Musical movie came out in 2006 and starred Zac Efron, Vanessa Hudgens, and Ashley Tisdale. Actor Raven-Symoné has revealed that she relates to the character she played on the hit Disney show That's So Raven. Symoné said that she believes in psychics. She added, and I quote, "I do have moments where I really will just stare and see a scene that's happening in another dimension and feel it in my body." The character that Symoné played, Raven Baxter, had strong psychic abilities in the show. Singer Katy Perry is all set to return to American Idol Season 22 as a judge. The singer was earlier ready to quit the singing contest. She said she was thrown under the bus by producers who wanted her to look like a nasty judge. Perry will be joined by singers Lionel Richie and Luke Bryan on American Idol. Katy Perry is famous for her hit songs that include Teenage Dream and Last Friday Night. Media personalities Chase Chrisley and Emmy Meadows have parted ways 9 months after getting engaged. Chrisley and Meadows took down each other's pictures from Instagram and later confirmed that they have broken up. Chrisley is known for the American television series Chrisley Knows Best.